Welcome to another edition of Who's Your Caddy? I'm your host, Kelly Singh, and this week we're talking about the Memorial Tournament. Hit it, Adam. You know, I had a much longer intro prepared, but we're a bit out of sorts today, and that's okay. Who's Your Caddy is a weekly PGA DFS talk show where we talk about the tournament, the course, our favorite core picks to help you build your lineup. But before I get too far into it, my co-host, the butter to my popcorn, who's playing producer today, pull yourself on in if you haven't already, because I wasn't on the screen. Oh, there you are. We are winning so far.
Yeah, it is. Can't tell we've been doing this for 2 years.
We cannot. I mean, wow. This is quality television, though.
It is. It's what made Saturday Night Live so great.
What was that?
It's what made Saturday Night Live so great.
So great. Ironically, I think I've just been pushed the login for the producer rights, but that's okay. We are 1 minute and 51 seconds into this, and we are not going back.
Nope.
Okay. Last week was a bit of a mixed bag, if not a terrible mess. I mean, I lost Canadian Nick Taylor. However, you retained Canadians. You picked Penrith last week, didn't you?
No.
Oh, dang it.
In fact, one of my picks withdrew on the second round. It was Doug Gim. The Gim Reaper said, no, thank you. I'm going to withdraw. And so he withdrew.
And then, no surprise, my WTF pick, Matt Kuchar, decided to miss yet another cut. So, yeah, I think it's official. I cannot even pick him for a WTF.
I mean, that's what the WTF is for, right? Pick him with your heart. And I picked Ben Martin for my WTF, and that did not work out. That did not. Last week was a bumpy road.
It's a bumpy road.
Yeah.
That's okay. We're moving on. We're on to a new week. This week we're talking about the Memorial Tournament played at Muirfield Village Golf Club in Dublin, Ohio. Not to be confused with Dublin, Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately. But it is one of the stronger fields that I think we see throughout the season. So that part is very exciting. What else do you want to tell us, Adam?
Well, it's the 5th longest course on tour, and it's got the 5th smallest greens on tour. So we're looking at a very long course and a very small landing strip for the green. It is the 2nd toughest course on tour. I think Victor Hovland last year won it with -7. If that gives you any indication. It has 12 danger holes with water on them, so that's 5th most on tour. And a fairway width is 32 yards, which is about average. And a rough length is going to be thick. So yeah, it's going to be a tough course. That's probably also why we're seeing a fairly strong field is that, some of the people you tend to see at Birdie Fests or some of those resort courses or the Butacana, resort course, you see some, lesser known names show up. It's going to be a tough course this week. So
While it's going to be a tough course, I do feel like it is sort of a fairly straightforward course, though, in a sense. But maybe I'm wrong. I feel like Muirfield Village is a bit like a resort course. Did you just say that it's like a resort course?
No, I mean it's to me it's more like a municipal course, right? So it's called a parkland course, right? So it's got trees on the side. It's got very decent fairways, but then you got a long course with small thing. The way I look at resort courses are wide fairways, fairly short, no penalty if you go in the rough. Just kind of a birdie fest type thing.
Okay.
Here in the rough, you're probably going to be punished a little bit. So yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I definitely see that point of view for a resort course, but that's coming from someone who lives in a resort town, and they're really very difficult resort courses. But in the sense of the tree lined, and it feels like it could be somewhat meandering. It didn't look like driving distance was an must have. Am I reading that correctly? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Driving distance is not a huge thing. It's only there, like it could be an edge if you find somebody that has both driving distance and accuracy. You're going to be hard pressed to find somebody that's going to have both of those things in high demand.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the things that stand out to me are ball striking, par five scoring a little bit, and then driving accuracy here is about 66%, which is a little bit higher than tour average. The greens and regulation percentage, though, is much lower than tour average. So take that into effect.
Okay. Yeah, that's good to know. I have been really looking this over. There's so many people that I want to play this week. And I'm glad it looks like you have at least one of them in your picks. But outside of Scotty Scheffler, which really we should probably be playing Scotty Scheffler. He's one of the most expensive, but he came in third here in 2021. He didn't play in 2022, third in 2023. His season's on fire. I would be hard pressed to not play Scotty Scheffler as a star player this week. But as I mentioned, there are so many other strong players, and it was really hard for me to just pick three. My first is a total bandwagon pick. Colin Morikawa is on everybody's mind this week. I believe about 23% of managers have rostered him already, and that is a lot, if you're wondering. But in comparison, the early projections are 33% for Scotty Scheffler, at least on the tool I'm looking at. So quite a vast distance, but those are your first and second most popular picks this week. The reason people like Colin Morikawa is he's had some tough breaks here. He's had success, but hasn't been able to finish it off. So people really like Colin Morikawa's chances, and I kind of like them too. His skill set actually fits this course very nicely, which I think is part of why he's done well here. But it's been spotty, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was cut in 2022. He withdrew from injury in 2023. Prior to that, he had a second place finish, a 48th place finish, and a first place finish. But I mean, this could be Colin's year. He's pretty pricey as well, 9.8K, but that's in the second tier, so it's not the most pricey. What do you think about Colin?
I almost put him in my pool, and I didn't. And the reason is his putting, he just doesn't do well on lightning fast greens, and these greens are going to be pretty quick. So that is my only hesitation. But driving accuracy, 70%, 68% in greens in regulation. I mean, numbers say he does well. He just typically loses strokes playing, but he's been playing lights out in his latest trends. I mean, he's been in the top 10 of his past 5 events. He's been in the top 10, only missed out on the 16th place in the Wells Fargo. Yeah, he's been playing pretty well. Maybe I'll talk myself into putting him back in the pool.
Well, I mean, you're probably going to have the same issue with my next pick, which happens to be Shane Lowry, who is also struggling with putting. However, he's playing so well everywhere else. Total strokes gained, 25th. 38th off the tee, 11th in approach, 16th in his total driving, 3rd in driving accuracy. He's hitting the green 68, nearly 68, 69% of the time. But that putting, gross.
Yeah, his putting, at least on Bermuda, is not great. But everything else is fine. He's in my pool. Weirdly enough, he's in my pool with a lower driving accuracy and lower greens in regulation, but he does well here at the moment at Muirfield. So that's the other thing I'm looking at is course history, because Muirfield really hasn't changed all that much. I think the last time they changed was 2020.
I think I read it's actually been like an ongoing 4-year renovation. So it's been anything that's changed. It's been slowly and slow going. But he's 7.9K on DraftKings, only on 8% of rosters. So there could be something to that. I really kind of liked that pick. It's exactly for what you said for course history. And he's been, not doing terribly this season, hanging in there. And especially as I rattled off those stats, you can tell he's definitely gaining strokes, just happens to not be in putting. But the last one I'm going to just get super specific on this week. Love-hate relationship with Siwoo Kim, 7.7K on DraftKings this week. He happens to be on 15, nearly 16% of rosters. That's the projection right now. So other people are definitely on Siwoo. It happens to be for some of the exact same reasons. A great play. Came in 4th last year, 13th the year before, 9th the year before that, 18th the year before that. So Siwoo Kim loves him some Memorial. And let's just keep it going. I'm gonna ride that wave, and I'm really surprised to see Siwoo Kim at 7.7K on DraftKings. To me, that seems like a steal, and I'm gonna take that one.
Yeah, it's a good pick. I like it.
I like some of yours.
Well, I'm glad you do. So it's been a while since I've done this, but I'm double dipping. I'm going back to Corey Connors. Driving accuracy is about average, but his greens and regulations at 72%. He came in 6th at the Royal Canadian. Again, he hasn't missed a cut in a while. But his driving distance is 301 yards. Driving accuracy, 63%, like I said, about average. His putting is a little suspect. He can get to the green. He can get there, but his putting just needs a little help. But like I said, he hasn't missed a cut since June of last year. So, yeah.
I think that's really important. You want somebody who's consistently making cuts. We talk about this probably every week. And it's a great way to look at it. I neglected to mention that the people I picked this week also have really good course fit. I like to talk about course fit, meaning that their skill set lines up with what the course is going to ask of them. So if anybody wants to weigh that out, that's something I like to look at. What else you got for us?
Well, I have Russell Henley.
I like Russell Henley.
Yeah, he's another horse for course. Driving accuracy 70%, greens and regulation 69%, and then driving distance 290. I don't really care about driving distance.
Right.
Does fantastically well on Bermuda greens. He should be doing okay. He's been playing pretty well. Recent form has been okay. Off the tee has been struggling a bit, but I think he figured it out at the PGA Championship, where he's basically about even on shots gained off the tee. But overall, he's a good rounded player. For his last 5 shots gained, tee to green has been around 5 strokes gained. So.
Mm-hmm. And I was just picking up the field average. He's 7th in driving accuracy and 37th in putting. So just to give anybody perspective, you're looking at somebody who's in the upper quarter of the field in those areas. So I think it's going to be interesting to watch Russell Henley play this weekend.
Yeah. And then rounding out my third is Denny McCarthy. Denny doesn't hit it long off the tee, but I don't need him to. His driving accuracy is about average, but his greens and regulation is about 65%. He's got a pretty good putter. He loves difficult courses. His approach is a little suspect around the greens, a little suspect, but he loves this course. He's done well here. He came in 2nd last year. I think he came in 3rd the year before that. So he's one of those 5th. He came in 5th the year before that. So he's just one of those people that likes this course. And so I'm going to roll with him.
Love it. I had 3 other names that we don't need to get into, but I liked Fleetwood again, and you mentioned double dipping. I played Fleetwood last week. I like him again this week. I also liked Russell Henley, which you already spent some time on, and Tom Kim, I think, is a worthy opponent this week. Is there any? Oh, what about Shuffles?
I have Xander Schauffele in my pool. He's pretty popular, not as popular as Scotty, but he's the 2nd most popular guy out there. A couple other names I like for my what the fuck is I like Thomas Hoagie and Christian Bez. Yeah, Bez boy. So I like him as well.
I like it. My WTF this week is Victor Perez. Victor Perez has 2 top 10s in 2024. He's a pretty average player, but his greens and regulations are pushing 70%, which is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It's great, actually. He's a decent scrambler. All of his stats are nothing to write home about other than the greens and regulations, but nothing is like red flags everywhere. So I like that when I look at his stats. When we talk about his course history, I just lost my page. Gosh darn it. Well, anyway, Victor Perez, my WTF pick this week. I don't know if he's going to do good or not, but he has not played the last 2 years here. He was cut the 2 years before that, but he's been playing well so far in 2024. And I feel like my camera's probably skipping
a little bit.
It.
No, you're back. Nope. No, you're back.
All right. That's it.
That's it. That's all we had. Thank you, Camera, for telling us that we've gone too far.
Thank you, everyone. Why don't you close us since I'm being all freezy?
All right. Guys, reach us on Twitter at Mr. Hallas, at Kelly and Phoenix. We know how to work Twitter. Just not this.